Hey, Alpha here. Welcome to the ABT Coaching Boom Series. Yes, I'm excited as always. And today, I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to make use of the time. Our Avia today with me is Cynthia. Cynthia, please say hello to the viewers.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Guys, on the Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I respect you guys, and you are the reason why we are doing this. And as coaches, we are enjoying this ride, and it has been wonderful. So, Cynthia, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Great. Okay. So, tell the viewers about yourself.
So, my name is Cynthia Omikam, aka Coach Sin, and I am the owner of Holistic Liberation LLC, where I serve my clients as a holistic life coach and spiritual healer. And basically, I guide my clients through their healing journeys, help them break away from stress and anxiety, and start living that liberated life that we all truly desire, full of peace and joy and fulfillment and happiness and all the rainbows and the butterflies and all that good stuff. But of course, before we get to that stage, of course, there is that serious inner work. So definitely being that support and guide and mentor in the way, and sometimes a spiritual mother figure as well.
Wow. Wow. That is gonna be a lot of takeaway today. Okay. And honestly, Cynthia, I love the way you're calm. Okay, and it's giving me that huge relief that we're gonna have a very interesting conversation.
Yes.
So let's get to it. Um, your work, how does it impact your clients with regard to the balancing of the your mind, body, and spirit?
It's a very eclectic process. So it definitely has a mixture of psychology in it. Um, Being active, taking care of the physical body is another aspect, as well as like nutrition, immunity, all that good stuff, as well as that getting down to that inner core of your very self, that higher self, your soul, your spirit. And so with different processes and different approaches and techniques and tools, depending on each client, I guide them through their own healing journey. So this will look different for everybody. And I think that's really important to note because we all are different. Our journeys are different. We receive different. And so, of course, naturally, we heal different. But it's very much about getting into that inner work. And of course, with inner work comes that mindset work, right? So doing those things to start switching up those narratives, getting control over our inner critic, replacing those things with more positive, empowering messages and narratives and stories and tools, and allowing that to then penetrate within the spirit. And of course, naturally, as we heal our minds, we start to gain clarity. With clarity comes motivation to do more for ourselves. And that is where that staying active, eating well, those pieces of that goes into there. And all at the same time, even though it sounds like a lot, it's not this complex. It's definitely simple. But with all that going on, we are still nurturing the spirit, right? We're still nurturing the soul. So we're making sure that you are really in tune with who you are, and what it is that you truly desire in life and what purpose it is that you're here for, as well as tapping into those gifts, that we all have. I know people look at those who claim spiritual gifts as like special or like chosen, but we're all chosen. So, getting people to understanding that we are powerful as we are and we are already whole. It's just the journey and the experiences that have kind of overshadowed those things. And it's all about returning to that sacred space. And, again, it's a eclectic system. However, at the end of that, everybody always walks away with some kind of new insight, some form of growth, transformation, evolution, elevation, all those things to take you to those higher frequencies because it's all about vibrating higher.
Wow. Whew. Whew. Key takeaway: the vibration and the clarity.
Yes.
Okay, that's all what we want in our lives. But people struggle. Okay, and that's the reason why everybody needs a coach, and
Yeah.
everybody's coachable. Okay, so With that said, how can someone maintain that high energy? Because for me, I have a very high energy. Okay, and sometimes I struggle with it because I want to do more, but
Hmm.
the space is not there for me sometimes. I'm be like, okay, I want to do this, but probably the situation or something around that just distracting me. So, what can you say about that one?
Definitely about balance. It's all about balance. Life is about balance. Before we hopped on, we were talking about just life in general. And I mentioned to you that as I started to slow down more, life became more purposeful. It made more sense. I started to see it from a different set of eyes. And that came through me allowing myself to fully surrender to the natural flow of spirit, of life, of universe. We wake up every day with the intention to go after our goals, but we never notice how much we try to really control every aspect, almost if we have control of each day. And we know that's not true. And it took a lot of hitting a couple of brick walls for me to realize that, okay, I can keep things together and things can be perfect and I can, achieve these things. But every once in a while, I get that wake up call that I'm not as in control as I thought I was. And in those moments, I felt so defeated. I got so stressed out. I became so anxious. And luckily, I had a mom who was able to serve me during those times. And she taught me things like mindfulness and meditation and the importance and the power of rest. And I'm not going to lie, it wasn't until I think after graduate school that I really started to see the value in that. And that is because that is when I had to become her full-time caregiver, which added a whole nother plate of stress to what I already thought life was, which was stressful. And so it was almost like all of those seeds that she planted in me were just kind of waiting for that moment. And when I hit that time where it was just like, I don't know if I can do this. This is a lot. I'm just one person. All of those things came back to me and I started to naturally flow into those things. And I started to meditate and I started to really do those self check-ins. Am I kind of so stuck in the rat race that I don't even see how far I've come already? Because there's this thing in me that's telling me that I need to do more. I'm not there yet. I'm still not there yet. Well, when would I get there? And so that things like that and questions like that really cause you to sit back and take a minute and think. And you start to reflect and you start to realize, well, I am farther than I give myself credit for. And if I'm this far, then I know I'm capable of going farther. So what's the rush? What's the rush if I'm just going to get there and be tired and burnt out? What am I working for? What am I working towards? And I think if we can start to go within and challenge ourselves and take that time to really listen in, we will realize that our body, our mind, our spirit, our soul, our hearts really want rest. We're in a society where work is like, it's here. The grind. If you're not on the grind, then what are you doing? It's always that. What is sleep? There's this concept of like the less sleep you have, the more successful you will be. But if you take the time to really tap in, and if you need some external motivation, because I know we love trends and things like that, many people like Oprah and, so many other famous people talk about mindfulness and the importance of rest in their success journeys. These people didn't get there doing these crazy concepts that we have. We just think that that's how it is supposed to be because that's how it's sold to us. So going back to changing the narratives, it's all about changing that societal narrative of busy, 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 go, 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 and understanding that we're not built for that type of life. We weren't created for that type of life. We were created here to show up in our powers, to use the gifts that we were given, to then serve the world and, share and pass that down and continue to nurture others as they nurture others. And now there's this ripple effect. And within that, we're supposed to enjoy this. There should be fulfillment. There should be joy. There should be moments where you can just sit back and look around and just be thankful, not trying to create that time to be thankful, just actually have that time to just be. And so I really encourage everybody to take a time to reflect on your life and be authentic, be real with yourself, be real, call yourself out. If you know that you have space to pause, you have space to slow down, even if it's just day to day. I'm not talking long term. Maybe you don't have time for a vacation, right? Nothing luxurious, but maybe from day to day for 10 to 20 minutes a day, maybe 30. Maybe I can push you to 30, and just take that time and sit in silence and listen. People look at me crazy when I say that. And when I first start working with my clients, they are just like, what? And the first couple of times it's a miss because it's still busy here. We still have to do the work here. But as we get through that mental work and they start to get that clarity, it creates space for understanding and seeing life for what it truly does mean to you. And maybe staying busy is something that works for you. But even if staying busy is something that works for you, I promise you, you're probably staying way more busy than you need to still. Because if you're a busy type person and you love that and that feeds your soul, you're multiplying it because of the world that we're in. You're just doing more because that's what the world says. You still deserve to slow down.
Wow. Whew. Let me take a breather. Whew. That's insightful. Before we go to the rat race and you being authentic, let us take a couple of comments from viewers, and I will just show them quickly. This is someone that I know. That's like just give me a shout out. Hello, Suleiman, and then Juliet.
Hey,
Hello.
Juliet.
Then there's someone here for Solomon. Thank you very much, Solomon, and thanks for coming on board. Then we have a comment from Rassi. Okay, it was just like just acknowledging what you just said, and that's so
Yes,
important.
yes. It's definitely a different rhythm.
Exactly, and I agree with that. So, and Juliet also like just like what is the whole thing. She agrees as well. And then just another one again from Juliet, like this is
Yes.
wonderful. Yes, this is wonderful.
Ashe,
I love
ashe, ashe.
exactly. Then from Rassi, just complimenting you what you just said, and I
Yes,
totally relate one. You have to be crazy, you have to have fun. Just
yes.
go through the process, and then go where. That's it. So guys, if you have if you have a question for Cynthia, you can drop it in the comments, and then I can present it to her, then she can respond. Okay. So Cynthia, we talk about the rat race. That's very important one. Okay. Briefly, let people know what's it entails because according to Robert T. Kiyosaki, one of his book, I think the cadence. Okay. He mentioned about the rat race. People don't know how to get to the rat race. People are like so in a rush, they don't study the game. Okay, so get into it, one. Let people understand.
So, in the sense of like the process of slowing down, in that
Yeah.
sense. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. So, you know, again, it's very simple. I always tell people to keep it simple. Don't complicate it. I know that we're kind of already in the run. So when you think about pausing mid-run, you think about all the things that will start tumbling down behind you, right? Because if one runner stops and everybody is still going, there's this like ripple effect, right? And there's this chaos. So automatically we think, well, I already take this much time in my day and I already have these things on my to-do list and I already have these things that I do on a day-to-day and it works. If I slow down now, I will, be backtracked or, I won't make it to where I want to be at a certain time. And I challenge you to challenge yourself. And I challenge you to start to schedule in that time, right? We're so good in scheduling in goals and tasks for the day. Nobody ever talks about the do nothing time, or the play time, because as adults, play is so important. One of the commenters said that we have to have fun, scheduling in that self-care time. And this may seem tedious, but for somebody who works strictly from a calendar, whether it's from your phone, it's on your wall, it's on your desk, if it's not on that calendar, you're probably not going to do it. If it's not on that calendar, you may find it really challenging to even find time for it. So I challenge you to pencil it in and make sure it's a fun color. Let's keep the energy all the way through. Like if you write in black or blue on your calendar, write this in red, so that you know that this is the designated time for me to stop, even if you need to be reminded to breathe. One of my clients suffered from really high anxiety when she first met me. And I actually had her to set alarm in her phone, only on vibrate, of course, because she would have to go to work and things like that. But just a reminder for her to take a minute and just breathe. 3 long, deep breaths, And at first, when I presented it to her, of course, she was like, "Are you crazy? That's like insane." But when she started to do it, it was just like, oh my gosh, I never noticed how much I don't really pay attention to how much I breathe. Breath work is a really good, easy, simple way to start, conscious breathing, taking those deep breaths in those moments of overwhelm. Instead of allowing your mind to take you down that rat hole, allow yourself to take a minute and just breathe. If you need something to focus on, do the sensory mindfulness, right? Look for something, feel something, taste something, listen to what you hear around you, let your energy be grounded. And the more that you practice these little simple things, before you know it, you'll find yourself in a salt room somewhere meditating, find yourself on more vacations, because it becomes something that you understand that is actually nurturing your soul rather than reveling up, right? Staying busy is all about that energy just kind of being unsettled. Whereas peace, relaxation, mindfulness, it calms that. And that is what really nurtures us. That is really what gets us going. That is what really gives us the energy, even though we think the opposite, So just being mindful of, again, changing the way that you think about life and about work and about success and like what that really looks like. And of course, going back to making sure that it aligns and it speaks to your journey and to your true desires.
Wow. So I'm enjoying the whole thing. When you talk about the breathing, I always okay, and for me, it's all about we have to be aware of the saboteurs and the sage within us. Okay, and for me, I use the breathing most of the time to like calm myself and not have that peace of mind, and it has worked for me. Okay, because I was full of anger before, but now I'm not that calm, enjoying life and be crazy at times.
Yes.
Okay, so now we are we're still in the pandemic, okay, with COVID and everything, and people work from home, okay,
Yeah.
and we're being careful now. Now, when people work from home, they like say you have a family, you have kids, you have your wife, or you have your husband, then there's this friction sometimes because you're not used to work from home, okay. So how do you put this with reference to what is happening in the world with all the distraction? How do you maintain that peace, Cynthia?
It's back to that balance and self-awareness for sure. In the beginning of the pandemic, because I am very much an introvert, I didn't find I was like, this is my territory. Like, this is what I do. This is just giving me more time and excuses to just be in my own energy and, do these things. However, energy transference is real. And so as the news started rolling in and the reality of everything started to, come to the forefront, it was really hard and I started to provide pro bono services. So, it was more than just my clients. It was all people from everywhere around the world, around the country. And there were so many different scenarios and so many different stories that were just so heavy. It became very hard for me to be in this space because now this space was no longer just my energy. It was filled with so many energies of the things that I was taking in. And so I remember the day because I knew I was overwhelmed because my patience was just a little bit shorter. My emotions were a little bit more sensitive, and I had to stop because I was just like, I am starting to feel that cabin fever feeling, like I just kind of want to get out. I just need to breathe. And so I started to tell myself that it was really important for me to go outside and spend time in nature and allow myself to feel a different energy and allow that to be some kind of freeing experience or cleansing, right? Grounding, of course, is a powerful force, but taking that to another level and allowing, the breeze to go past my face and actually feel it and feel like I'm really releasing whatever it is that I was carrying it at that time. And, making sure that I was incorporating self-care mentally, emotionally, spiritually, staying prayed up, prayer, a lot of prayer, as well as, making sure that I stayed in touch with resources. As a healer, it's really important that I make sure that I maintain my own alignment. And so I'd be lying to you if I didn't have, friends or family or, clients sometimes who I connect with that allow me to purge in a way and allow me to return back to that space, whether they drop some kind of gems that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that, or whether we're just talking in conversation and through that dialogue, I hear myself giving myself, giving me my own message, in a way. And so just really being more self-aware of everything. And again, incorporating that intentional time to make sure that my mind is in a good space, making sure that I feel healthy and whole in every aspect of that way, and not allowing, social media or things like that to kind of penetrate that, because that was a big thing. I feel like for a lot of people, we realized how it is effective. Social media is effective, but it affects us as well. It can be a powerful tool. It can connect us. It can serve us well. But there's so many things on there that really started to cause more panic for people when I was talking to people and how they felt, misinformation, miscommunication. It kind of hindered a lot of people's communication skills. Remembering that even though I'm in this bubble right now, there will be a time where this bubble gets popped and I have to integrate back into the community, and I have to make sure that I'm still mannerable. I have to make sure that I'm still respectful. I have to make sure that I still am connected. So that connectivity, whether through, communities that I've connected to with other healers or spiritualists, of course, staying connected to friends and family, as I'm sure we all did virtually, and just making sure that I still provided myself with a full life, if that makes any sense. So, I feel like a lot of people, there was so much fear that life was almost minimized because all we were focused on was survival, which is natural. That's a human tendency, right? We have to survive first. I was still very much in survival mode, but because of so many experiences that I've had where I had to be in that mode, but continue to push forward, I maintained that survival mode, of course, to stay safe, and to keep others safe. However, I very much still made sure that I got out and about, I made sure that I still felt like there was still hope the next day. I kept that hope alive. I kept that positive mindset. And whenever I felt myself drifting, I did that vulnerable yet realistic self-check of, hey, maybe we need to delete Instagram for today, or maybe let's stay off Instagram today. Let's get on YouTube. Let's watch some TD Jakes. Let's get inspired. Let's get empowered. Let's read something inspirational, or let's just read a book. That's something that I feel like a lot of people, we got there eventually because there was so much time, but in the beginning there was just so much resistance. I think my biggest takeaway from that would be I didn't resist, and I still don't resist. Whatever change that I have to adapt to, I adapt, but I do so while nurturing every part of me. So I'm not just adapting because like this is what I have to do and this is what life is. That's settling. You shouldn't settle for life. I adapt, but I'm like, we can make this fun. You know, I'll just make sure that I take these breaks. I do my mantras outside so that I can hear the birds. I sit out there for a minute, you know, things like that. Times at the grocery store, instead of going to the grocery store and being panicked about too many people, it was more so, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. You know, I get to see people today, you know, and just really making more out of life, because life is really what you make it. And I try to live to that every day.
Thank you very much, and that's a wonderful response too. And the pandemic has taught us so many lessons, and even though we lost our loved ones, but look at the bright side of life. People die every day, so we just have to make use of the time that we have. You know, live the life that we want to live. Now, my sympathy to you and the family for the loss of your mom. Okay, even though it's like almost like 3 years, but
Yeah.
still a lovely person to you, and she impacted you in so many ways. Okay, now one in our pre-interview, you said something about your mom that really caught my attention. It has to do with your mom always let people walk away.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what she believes in. Because there's some situation that you never be able to control. Okay, and you just have to let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm interested to know more about the value you impacted in you.
Yes. So that, yes. So my mom was very big on live and let live. You know, she was very non-judgmental. My mom was somebody who lived several lives in one lifetime. You know, she did things that people would never have guessed that she did. She, you know, experimented with drugs. She drank, you know, she partied, but she also lived that life of like an evangelist, you know, where she was completely dedicated to God. And of course, in between there was her healing. And I feel like that's how I got those nuggets, you know. And a lot of what she told me was about meeting people where they are and not having expectations. You know, when we show up to anything with expectations, you almost set yourself up to be disappointed. People are human. We all make mistakes. We're bound to disappoint each other in some shape, form, or fashion. And if we don't allow people space to do that, we'll find ourselves in a space where we're angry, we're resentful, we're stressed. You know, we always have some kind of issue or we feel unsupported. And so my mom was very big on allowing people to be whatever it was that they were supposed to be to you, serve you in whatever way they're supposed to serve. Some people teach you lessons, some people serve you with love, some people keep you uplifted, some people give you support, you know, some people make you feel safe. You know, some people serve so many things in our lives, and if we don't allow people to show up in that way, we may miss that. Now, I'm not saying allow people to be disrespectful to you or anything like that, right? We still have healthy boundaries, right? We still have self-worth to make sure that we protect. However, you know, allowing people to communicate in the way that they need to, and understanding that it may not be how you want them to, but have an open heart and open mind always to hear it, right? So the same way that somebody may apologize may be completely different to somebody else. Somebody may directly say, you know, I am so sorry, you know, for doing this, and I know this caused you. I mean, they're giving you the whole spiel, and you, oh, thank you. You know, you feel it, you hear it, and somebody may just say, like, you know, it's just been really hard for me, but I know that I really hurt you, and I didn't mean to do that. And some people will hear that and be like, that wasn't an apology. You know, I didn't hear sorry. I didn't hear. They acknowledged that they did cause something towards you. They acknowledged that there was no intention to do that. Could they have done better? Maybe. I can agree to that, right? But at the same time, the apology is there. So forgiveness is possible, right? So living from a space of love and from a energy of spirit. And if we always return to that space of love comes compassion and grace. And so through all of those things that she instilled with me, not only do I interact with people on a day-to-day like that, but I do that with my clients, and I encourage them to do that with themselves and others. And honestly, my mission overall is to continue that flow like an ocean that's just going to take over the whole wide world with just compassion and grace and forgiveness and love, and having that safe space, because we all deserve it. We're all fighting battles that we don't talk about. We're all facing things that are overwhelming and very scary. And the last thing we need to do is to continue to challenge each other in every aspect of life. Let's go back to that space where you can have your opinion and you can think whatever you want, but we can still love each other. We can still be one. We can still be united. I can still see your perspective and not agree, but we can still be in good energy. It's all about keeping that positive, high vibrational energy wherever you go, and doing that by creating space for others. So even though my mom was very much introverted like me, which I get, I'm just like her, basically. We're the same. We're one and one. Our dedication and our purpose here is to serve. And so I think that's why it's so big about creating that space. So I'm very big on making sure that I create that space for not only my clients, but anyone who needs it, and understanding that we all have our stories. We all have our skeletons in the closets. I don't care how vulnerable people say they are with you. There's still things that they don't talk about. So we don't have the right to sit back and judge or point or, chastise. Instead, let's reach that hand out. Let's help each other out. Let's uplift each other, and allow others to learn from us if there's something to learn from, or be open to possibly learning from them, even though you don't see it that way.
Thanks. Time is almost upon us, and we'll have to let's do something look up some comments. Juliet is so into the whole thing, and it's like she's resonating, and that's a good thing.
Yes, thank you so much, love. Yes.
I love this, Juliet. Then Gilbert says, "Yeah, I agree with you.
For sure.
The balance in the professional life, that's important." Then Rassi put up a good comment here, and this is what he said, like the calendar.
Yep.
Listen to it,
That's it. I love her. Oh, you just to let you know. Nice to meet you.
Exactly. You love you, Rassi. And then Julia said, "You need to take." These are things that people are looking for, and for me, I agree.
Yeah.
I resonate very well on this one. Thank you very much, Juliet. And this one's like, live and let live. All right. So, even though I hate to say it, it has been a wonderful conversation. And the question that I've asked you, and you went into it, and I can feel the energy, the positive energy, And my takeaway is there are so many. I can't say it now, but I'm gonna put a post for you tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
And so the last question. Now, what you've done and what you're doing for your clients and others around the world, I know you have this huge impact. Well, now, what I want to ask, this will be the last question, though. The changes that you made in your environment, how do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years? Because we want to see the good part, okay? Because the world need us now more than ever as far as coaching is concerned. Okay. So how do you see yourself in the next 2 or 3 years?
In the next 2 or 3 years, I definitely see myself on the stage. My mom always saw me on the stage speaking to people. She thought that I would be a pastor or, something like that. And I'm not exiting. I'm not canceling that out. I'm just not there yet. I didn't get that message yet. But something in front of the people, because my strength, my power is in my communication and my storytelling. My mom was a storyteller, and I have some kind of gift where people hear the message. And when I'm saying it, I don't feel like it's like there. Like if I had time to rethink it, I would probably think about things and not say it. Like that's how much I don't think about what I'm talking about. It's almost like it's literally being downloaded into me and then processed out. And I know that there are things that I need to share with the people, not just, based off of my experiences and my values, but also in reference to my own story and my own struggles. And there's so many things that I'm not able to talk about in these 30-minute lives that I know so many people would benefit from. So I definitely look forward to Holistic Liberation being a global thing, an international thing, being able to be found on any television network, but seriously, just continuing to make an impact and continuing to change lives and helping people to find this perfect peace that I've found, which I will say perfect is never perfect. But this peace that I found, I have now realized that everybody doesn't have access to it in the sense of being in that space, but helping and guiding them to understand that it is there. It's waiting for them to just do the work and access it so that we all can be in a space where we can extend, that love and that understanding to each other and really start to build the world that I think we all really desire deep down in our hearts. We may not speak on it all the time, but I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't love to see us all just united and blissful and on the same vibrational frequency, allowing for just complete abundance and prosperity throughout, for everyone, and being grateful for that and just continuing to nurture that.
Whew. I don't want the program to end. Man. I'm like, I'm feeling the whole thing, the energy, it's like, it's real. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you. You have a new connection right there on the LinkedIn from Morasi. So she will connect. So that's a good one. That's the good thing about the Bloom series. Then Cynthia will end it. Looking forward to you saying. So
yes,
she's talking about
looking forward to being right beside you, Queen. Right beside you.
Exactly. So on that note, I want to use this opportunity to thank you and we appreciate you for making it like a must for coming on the show. The Bloom series appreciates you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. I'm looking forward to continuing this collaboration. You are amazing. Every time. You never let me down with the energy, and I love that.
Thank you very much. And to the viewers, we thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend. All right.